He was once one of America's brightest stars. Orenthal James Simpson, football hero, Hollywood actor, celebrity pitchman, was the very definition of success. His smile appeared on television screens across the country, his face on magazine covers, his talent on the football field undeniable. He embodied the American dream. But in 1994, that dream turned into a national nightmare. The story of O.J. Simpson is more than a true crime. It is a reflection of race, celebrity, power, and justice in modern America. O.J. Simpson's story began in the streets of San Francisco. Born in 1947, he grew up in the projects, raised by a single mother after his father left the family. He battled rickets as a child, his legs so bowed he needed braces. But out of hardship, he found speed. By high school, he was a standout athlete. At the University of Southern California, he became a legend. Nicknamed the Juice, Simpson electrified crowds with his running game, leading USC to a national championship and winning the Heisman Trophy in 1968. From there, O.J. soared. Drafted by the Buffalo Bills, he became one of the greatest running backs in NFL history. He was the first player to rush for over 2,000 yards in a single season, setting records that placed him among the immortals of the game. Off the field, Simpson's fame only grew. He transitioned seamlessly into television and film, appearing in commercials for Hertz, where he sprinted through airports with charm, and later starring in Hollywood movies. He cultivated an image of the approachable, non-threatening superstar, admired across racial lines, embraced by corporate America. But behind the glossy image lay a more complicated reality. In 1977, Simpson married Nicole Brown, a young woman he met while she was working as a waitress. To outsiders, they seemed glamorous. The football legend and his beautiful wife, living in Los Angeles, raising 2 children, Sydney and Justin. Yet friends noticed volatility. Nicole confided in loved ones about O.J.'s temper, his jealousy, his control. There were 911 calls, police visits, bruises hidden beneath makeup. He's back. He's going to beat the out of me. The pattern was clear. Police came to their home multiple times, but O.J.'s fame seemed to insulate him from real consequences. Nicole eventually left him in 1992, filing for divorce. Even then, she struggled to escape his shadow. Friends later recalled how she feared him, how she told them that if anything ever happened to her, O.J. would be responsible. On the night of June 12, 1994, Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ron Goldman were brutally murdered outside Nicole's home on Bundy Drive in Brentwood. Their bodies were discovered in the early hours of June 13th. Nicole had been attacked with a knife, her injuries severe. Goldman, a young waiter and friend, had been killed trying to defend himself. The crime scene was chaotic, but one name quickly emerged in investigators' minds: O.J. Simpson. Detectives noticed a trail of blood leading away from the scene. They also found a left-hand glove soaked in blood. At O.J.'s Rockingham estate, investigators discovered more blood drops, and in his bedroom, blood on socks that matched Nicole's DNA. A second glove, appearing to match the one at Bundy, was also recovered. Initially, O.J. cooperated. He was questioned by police, though notably without his lawyer present. But as the evidence mounted, prosecutors decided to charge him with double murder. What followed became one of the most surreal moments in American crime history. On June 17, 1994, Simpson was due to surrender to authorities. Instead, he fled. Accompanied by his friend Al Cowlings, O.J. led police on a slow-speed chase through Los Angeles in a white Ford Bronco. With television helicopters overhead, an estimated 95 million Americans watched live as the chase unfolded. Inside the vehicle, Simpson held a gun to his head, threatening suicide. "Just let me go. I just want to go to Nicole. I just want to be with her." The chase ended peacefully at Simpson's home. He was arrested and charged with 2 counts of murder. What followed would dominate the nation's attention for over a year. The trial of O.J. Simpson, a legal drama unlike anything the world had ever seen. The prosecution believed they had an airtight case. DNA evidence, then relatively new in criminal courts, placed Simpson at the scene. His blood was found at Bundy Drive. Nicole's and Ron's blood was in his Bronco. A bloody glove matched another at the crime scene. A timeline appeared to fit. O.J. Simpson's blood, Nicole Brown's blood, and Ronald Goldman's blood, all together. That is not a coincidence. That is evidence. But Simpson was no ordinary defendant. He hired a defense team that would become known as the Dream Team. Robert Shapiro, F. Lee Bailey, Alan Dershowitz, Barry Scheck, Robert Kardashian, and most famously, Johnny Cochran. Each was a legal heavyweight. Together, they would craft a defense strategy that turned the trial upside down. The defense didn't just question the evidence. They attacked the investigators, especially Detective Mark Furman, who had found the bloody glove at Simpson's estate. Tapes revealed Furman using racial slurs, boasting of police misconduct, and describing scenarios of planting evidence. Detective Furman's own words show us who he is. If you cannot trust the messenger, how can you trust the message? The defense argued that Simpson was the victim of a corrupt, racist police department, one that had planted or mishandled evidence. In a city still raw from the Rodney King beating and the LA riots, their argument resonated with many. Then came the glove. In a dramatic moment, prosecutors asked Simpson to try on the gloves recovered by police, one from Bundy, one from his home. In front of the jury, Simpson struggled to pull them on. They appeared too small. His hands looked awkward, the leather stiff. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit. It was the line that would echo beyond the courtroom, cementing doubt in the jury's mind. For 9 months, the world watched. The prosecution laid out DNA evidence. The defense countered with police corruption. Witnesses described O.J.'s temper, Nicole's fear, the troubled marriage. But in the end, the trial became bigger than the murders themselves. It became about race, celebrity, trust in institutions, and America's divisions. On October 3, 1995, the jury returned its verdict after just 4 hours of deliberation. We the jury find the defendant, Orenthal James Simpson, not guilty of the crime of murder. The courtroom erupted. Outside, celebrations broke out in some neighborhoods, while others were devastated. Polls showed deep racial divides. A majority of Black Americans believed justice had been served, while most white Americans believed a murderer had gone free. For the families of Nicole and Ron, it was agony. The killer walked free today. My son has no justice. Though acquitted in criminal court, Simpson was not done with the justice system. In 1997, the Brown and Goldman families filed a civil lawsuit for wrongful death. This time, the jury found him liable. He was ordered to pay $33.5 million in damages, a judgment that financially crippled him but went largely unpaid. Simpson retreated to Florida, living off his NFL pension, shielded from seizure. He golfed, made paid appearances, and lived in relative obscurity. But he couldn't resist the spotlight. In 2006, he sparked outrage with a book titled If I Did It, a hypothetical account of how he might have committed the murders. Public backlash was swift. The book was pulled, though the Goldman family later obtained rights and published it themselves. Then, in 2007, O.J. found himself in trouble once more. In Las Vegas, he and several men confronted sports memorabilia dealers in a hotel room, demanding items O.J. claims were stolen from him. The confrontation turned into armed robbery and kidnapping. I wasn't stealing. I was taking back what was mine. The court didn't see it that way. In 2008, Simpson was convicted and sentenced to 33 years in prison, with parole possible after 9. Ironically, the man many believed had escaped justice for murder was finally behind bars for a far lesser crime. In prison, Simpson kept a low profile. He coached sports teams, played cards, and waited. In 2017, after 9 years, he was granted parole. He walked free once again, older but still infamous. Today, O.J. Simpson lives quietly between Las Vegas and Florida. He makes occasional public statements, often on social media. At 76, his legacy remains deeply contested. To some, he's still a football hero. To others, he is forever a suspect who escaped accountability. But 2 names remain etched into this story: Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman. Their families continue to remind the world of who was lost on that night in 1994. Their lives, cut short, remain at the center of this saga, far beyond the fame of the man accused of taking them. The story of O.J. Simpson is not just about one man's fall. It is about America itself, its divisions, its justice system, and its fascination with celebrity. It is a story that asks questions with no easy answers. Did justice fail? Did the system work? Or was the truth buried beneath the weight of spectacle? O.J. Simpson's name will forever echo in true crime history. His life, once defined by triumph on the football field, will always be overshadowed by the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman, and the trial that stopped a nation.